Hey everybody, today I'm making a delicious pasta dish that's a Northern Italian favorite. It's called Bagna Cauda. It's actually more like a fondue the way that it's normally served, where people kind of just dip vegetables and bread into it with a nice rich olive oil, kind of buttery, salty sauce. But the traditional version has anchovies in it. So my vegan version, we're going to be using green olives, pitted green olives and capers to add the saltiness, and just use a little vegan butter and some really good olive oil, and it's just going to be a really rich, delicious dish that's super simple to make. So I've got my water coming to a boil, and what I'm going to do is, the first thing, I'm going to put my olive oil in a pan on the large burner. We're going to get that going with about 1/3 cup of olive oil. It is really a comfort food rich dish. It's very good, and this olive oil is really good too. Use a good olive oil because it's really going to bring out the most flavor. And a little bit of butter. I'm going to add a little butter there. Okay. And while that's getting warm, I have a lot of garlic. I use a lot of garlic. You guys don't have to use as much if you don't want, but I do have about 10 cloves of garlic here that I'm going to use. So I'm going to process it. Whenever I have a lot, I like to process it in a food processor because it just gets to be way too much cutting. So I just like the way that this chops it up really fine, especially if you're doing finely chopped garlic, which I am. So I'm just going to process that. That was fast. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add that. See? That's not good. I can add that to my pan. That's a lot of garlic. And the dish is also kind of textured too. It's not with the traditional anchovies. You could kind of see little, pieces in there, so it's not supposed to be a super smooth sauce all the time. And I kind of like the texture in it, especially over pasta. Okay. And I'm going to use the same container to get my olives smashed up too. Okay, so I have about 1 cup of pitted green olives. I'm going to put them in here. Now, green olives just have a really nice salty flavor. And got a little butter in my hands there. And I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of capers. They add a little bit of tart, kind of, not really tart, kind of just a briny kind of taste that gives it just another dimension, a little salty. So I like to use capers. They're very traditional in Italian cooking too. So I'm going to actually let that garlic cook. Very fragrant, very delicious garlic. I love garlic. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. There's a lot of garlic in that. But I do like to keep the flavor kind of bold, especially with vegan cooking. You just want to have the best flavor possible. So now let me process this. And I'm going to get this is kind of pureed to a very fine chop. That's pretty good. Lower the heat a little bit on that. And just look at that beautiful garlic. So fragrant. I love the smell. My husband loves the smell when he comes home and he smells all that garlic. It's like a great Italian restaurant or something. Okay. Well, maybe I'll just scrape the sides. Whoops. Got a little bit there. But that's the consistency I prefer. Okay. So we do have our water boiling. I'm going to add the pasta now. And a shortcut pasta works really well. This is Strozzapreti. It just has a nice shape. It holds sauce really well. So I'm going to use that one. Half a pound. Pasta. Okay. And you don't want the garlic to burn, so you want to lower the heat on that. Brings out all the flavor when it's just lightly toasted, but you don't want to burn it because then that becomes a little bit bitter. So now I will add in my green olive mixture. And you don't need to add extra salt because this is really salty enough on its own. And it's got a lot of flavor. Just put that aside. I have some artichoke hearts. You can use canned, jarred. These are actually frozen. They work out really well. You can just keep them in the freezer when you need them. About 8 ounces maybe of the quartered artichoke hearts. So I'm just going to add them into the pan as well. And they have a nice kind of almost like lemony flavor, I think. I love artichokes. Bring the heat back up a little bit for that. And so that it's not too dry, I'm going to add a little pasta water. It's always a great idea to add some reserved pasta water to dishes. I did not salt this water. You certainly can, but I always like to err on the side of not too much salt, but if I need it, I could always add it later. But look at that, how beautiful. The artichokes and the garlic and the green olives has such a nice color too. It's a really nice fall dish. But it's kind of everything I love in a bowl here. So at this point, I'm going to take some of my water, dump it in. Just add a little extra liquid in there. Maybe a little more. That's looking great. Okay. Try a little bit of pasta, see if it's done. Yeah. Al dente. Okay, we'll drain my pasta. Right, and dump that pasta in, and let's use I like to use a wooden spoon. That aside. Oh yeah, looking good, smelling good. It's still pretty hot. I'm just going to grab a little bit to taste what's in the bowl. Hey, time to try a bite. Seriously good. The artichokes, the green olives, a little bit of caper. such a great combination of flavors and great to cozy up with on a cold evening. So, cheers everybody.